Zion National Park, 220 square miles of red rock and narrow canyons, walls that rise 1,000 feet, slot canyons so tight you have to turn sideways to pass through. Every year, 4 million people visit. They take photographs, they hike the trails, they post about the views. But some of them come back with different stories. Not about the beauty, about the walls, about the way sound moves through the canyons, about the feeling of being watched from above. In Zion, you don't get lost, you get trapped. Tonight, 5 people share what happened when they couldn't find their way out. I had the map. I had the trail. I still couldn't get out. This story comes from a man named Kevin, 32 years old, experienced hiker. He'd done trails in 5 national parks before Zion, March 2022. Kevin was on a day hike, one of the popular routes, well-marked, well-traveled, the kind of trail that shows up in guidebooks. He started at 7 a.m., planned to be back by noon. By 2 p.m., he was still in the canyon. I don't know how to explain it. I followed the trail. I followed my map. Every time I thought I was heading toward the exit, I ended up deeper. Kevin tried retracing his steps. Didn't work. The trail looked different going back. Turns he didn't remember. Junctions that shouldn't have been there. It felt like the canyon was rearranging itself. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd been on that trail before. It wasn't the same. He kept walking. Hour after hour. The walls got taller. The light got dimmer. The air got colder. Around 4 p.m., he finally found the trailhead, the same one he'd started from. He'd been walking for 9 hours on a trail that should have taken 4. Kevin checked his phone. His GPS showed a straight line. In and out. No loops. No wrong turns. But that's not what happened. I know what the GPS says. I know what the map says. I also know I walked for 9 hours and ended up exactly where I started. He paused. In Zion, the canyon decides when you leave, not you. Kevin still hikes. Different parks now. He hasn't been back to Zion. People don't scream in Zion, they go quiet. That's how you know something's wrong. This story comes from a woman named Sarah, 41 years old, 11 years with the Park Service, 8 of them at Zion. Sarah has seen everything: heat stroke, flash floods, falls, rescues that ended well, rescues that didn't. But she says the canyon deaths aren't what haunt her. When someone falls, when someone drowns, there's a reason. Physics, weather, human error. You can explain it. You can understand it. She paused. What I can't explain is the silence. Sarah told me about a rescue in 2019. A hiker had been missing for 2 days. Last seen entering one of the narrow slot canyons. The search team found him on the 3rd day, sitting against a wall, alive, uninjured, just sitting there. He could have walked out. The exit was 200 yards away. He could see it. He just wasn't moving. When they reached him, he didn't respond, didn't speak, didn't look at them. It took us an hour to get him to stand up. He kept looking at the walls, like he was waiting for something. The hiker was taken to the hospital. Dehydration, minor exposure, nothing that explained his behavior. Sarah visited him before he was discharged. I asked him what happened, why he stopped, why he didn't walk out. He looked at her for a long time. Then he said, "The canyon told me to wait." That was all. He wouldn't say anything else. I've been doing this job for 11 years. I've seen people panic. I've seen people shut down, but I've never seen someone just obey. Sarah took a breath. In Zion, people don't scream when they're in trouble. They get quiet, they stop moving, they wait. She shook her head. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't want to know. The walls didn't move, but they got closer. This story comes from a woman named Rachel, 28 years old. She grew up in Utah. She'd been to Zion dozens of times. October 2021. Rachel decided to explore one of the lesser-known slot canyons, not a technical route, just narrow, the kind of place most tourists skip. She entered around 3 p.m. Plenty of daylight, no weather concerns. The canyon was beautiful. Red walls rising on both sides, smooth stone shaped by centuries of water. Quiet, too quiet. I noticed it about 20 minutes in. No birds, no wind, no echo. I clapped my hands and the sound just stopped, like the walls absorbed it. Rachel kept walking. The canyon got narrower. At some points she had to turn sideways to squeeze through. Then she hit a dead end. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'd seen photos of this canyon. It goes through. There's no dead end. She turned around, started walking back. But the canyon behind her looked different. The walls were closer. I know that doesn't make sense, but they were closer. Passages I'd walked through easily, I had to squeeze through now. Rachel tried to stay calm, told herself it was her imagination. The light was changing. Shadows made things look different. She kept walking. The canyon kept narrowing. I started to panic. I couldn't breathe. The walls were inches from my shoulders. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't go back. I could only go forward. Then she heard something. Behind her, in the canyon she'd just walked through. Breathing. Not hers. Something else. Slow. Rhythmic. Echoing off the walls. I couldn't tell where it was coming from, in front, behind, above. The acoustics in those canyons, sound bounces everywhere. It could have been my own breath echoing back. She paused. But it wasn't in sync with my breathing. It was slower, calmer, patient. Rachel kept moving, faster now, scraping her shoulders against the walls, not caring about the pain. The breathing followed. Same pace, same rhythm, never speeding up, never stopping. I started crying, hyperventilating. I couldn't think. I just kept pushing forward. Then suddenly, the canyon opened up. Wide, light, space. The exit was 50 feet away. Rachel ran, didn't look back, didn't stop until she reached her car. She sat there for an hour, shaking, trying to breathe. I know what people will say. Panic attack, claustrophobia, acoustic tricks. Maybe that's all it was. She looked at me. But I've been in slot canyons my whole life. I've never panicked. I've never felt claustrophobic. Her voice dropped. And I've never heard something breathing behind me when I was alone. Rachel still lives in Utah. Still hikes, but never slot canyons. Never narrow passages. Never anywhere the walls can get close. Some people say Zion is alive. I used to think that was poetic. She paused. Now I think it's a warning. My GPS worked perfectly. It just didn't help. This story comes from a man named James, 35 years old, tech worker from Seattle. He liked to hike with gadgets, GPS, satellite messenger, all the gear. August 2020. James was finishing a long-day hike in Zion. He'd started late, lost track of time. By 7 p.m., he was still 2 miles from the trailhead. No problem. He had his headlamp. He had his GPS. He knew exactly where he was. The GPS showed a clear path. 2 miles. 45 minutes. Straight shot. James started walking. An hour later, his GPS said he was 1 mile from the trailhead. That's impossible. I'd been walking for an hour. Steady pace. I should have been there. He kept walking. Another hour. The GPS showed 0.8 miles remaining. I was moving backward. According to the GPS, every step I took was taking me further from the exit. James stopped, checked his equipment. Everything was working. Satellites locked, signal strong. The GPS knew exactly where he was. It just kept telling him the trailhead was getting further away. I tried a different route. The GPS recalculated, showed a new path. I followed it. 30 minutes later, I was further than when I started. By midnight, James gave up, found a flat spot, sat down, decided to wait for daylight. I turned off the GPS, turned off the headlamp, just sat there in the dark. The canyon was silent. No wind, no animals, nothing. Then I heard footsteps, above me, on the canyon rim. James looked up, couldn't see anything, just darkness and stars. The footsteps went on for maybe 5 minutes, walking back and forth, slow, deliberate, like someone was pacing. Then they stopped. James didn't move until sunrise. In the morning, he stood up and walked. No GPS, no map, just instinct. He reached the trailhead in 20 minutes. 20 minutes! I'd been walking for 5 hours the night before, following the GPS, getting nowhere. He shook his head. The technology worked. The canyon just didn't care. James still hikes, still brings his GPS, but in Zion he doesn't trust it. In most places the map tells you where to go. In Zion the canyon does. This last story doesn't come from an interview. It comes from a post I found on an outdoor hiking forum. The account has been deleted. The user never posted again. I'm sharing it exactly as it was written. I'm writing this because I need someone to know. I'm not looking for explanations. I'm not asking for help. I just need to say it out loud. I went to Zion in September. Solo trip, 5 days. On day 3, I went into a canyon I'd never heard of. Found it on an old map. No trail markers. No footprints. Just me. I hiked for about 2 hours. The canyon got narrow. Then it opened into this chamber. High walls. Circle of sky above. Like being at the bottom of a well. There was something in there. I didn't see it, I didn't hear it, but I knew the way you know when someone's standing behind you in a dark room. I left, walked out as fast as I could, didn't run. Running felt like a bad idea. I made it back to my car, drove to my hotel, sat in the shower for an hour. I haven't been right since. I don't sleep well. I have dreams about that chamber, about looking up at the circle of sky, about feeling something looking back down. I'm not going to name the canyon. I'm not going to say where it is. If you find it, that's on you. But here's what I need to say. Zion isn't empty. The guidebooks are wrong. The rangers are wrong. There's something in those canyons, something old, something that doesn't like visitors. I got out. I think I was lucky. Don't go looking for that chamber. Don't go off the marked trails. Don't think your GPS will save you. If the canyon decides to keep you, it will. This is my only post. I'm deleting this account after. Don't look for me. Don't message me. Some places you don't come back from the same. I came back, but I left something there, and I think something followed me home. That was the entire post. No follow-up, no replies from the original poster. The forum thread was deleted 6 months later. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know if it's true, but I know how it made me feel when I read it. and I know I haven't forgotten it.